Welcome to another Saturday night. Boston Jimmie taking it to the nub. And tonight, oh man, I think we're going to have some shenanigans. I think they might have already started. Tonight we have Juan and Kevin Keithan from Protocol Cigars. So let's give a warm welcome here to Kevin and Juan. I'll bring them in to the gentlemen. You already started drinking. Good.
Hello, happy holidays. Before we
Happy
even start,
holidays.
let's have a cheers. Cheers
Cheers.
to all you guys. Cheers to the holiday season. Is my favorite time of year.
It is. Look at me, man. It's Papa Santa.
It is the best time of year, and I think now more than ever, because 2020 has been such an insane year that
Mhm.
it's just out of control.
What
And
are
it's
you
good.
drinking
It's good
to
to be over.
celebrate the holidays right now?
I usually drink coquito, but right now somebody handed me a drink because I came in here a little bit late, and it's vodka and cranberry, which is not keto, but I'm gonna drink it right now because it's all I got.
All right. How about you, Kevin?
I got Elijah Craig small batch.
All right. And I kind of listened to a few shows over the last month.
Wow, nice.
Little Uncle Nearest, 1856.
Very nice.
Yes, this is really good bourbon. Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, yep,
So
you're right.
it's not the kind of bourbon you want to mix it to an old fashioned. You just basically want to take it straight, right? Neat.
Yeah, straight, neat.
This is absolutely beautiful. Vanilla note to it.
So you would do that just neat, no ice at all.
No ice. No ice.
No ice on that.
What are you smoking tonight?
I am smoking a Protocol Blue Corona. I'm sorry, this is a double Corona. This is the size we did just for the owners because what started happening as we would smoke our cigars but we smoke a lot, so we started seeing that we're getting high on our own supply. And we were like, we can't stop opening up boxes that we're supposed to sell to retailers for what's we're looking for to smoke ourselves. So we did these instead.
Yeah, so we did bundles of those. I'm smoking, supporting the guys from Moya Ruiz, the La Jugada that was recently re-released.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cigar,
Yeah, very good cigar.
been around for so long, and it's always been consistent when they're doing that work.
Yeah.
I'm going to celebrate with you guys.
Nice.
So, this is some of the package we got from the Zona Palooza.
Nice.
So, I don't know if these are the good ones or the bad ones you put in there, but so far.
You just got the pre-release. They were all rolled at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
We actually showing them off right here. So we got these pre-releases, and I'll talk to you about the location we're on. Usually we go live from our Protocol Studios at an undisclosed location, but today Kevin had like a little event here at another undisclosed location, which I will disclose. It's called Caravan Cigar Company in Bath, PA. And we decided to do it. We're actually in here right now doing it from their, I guess, what is this called? The conference room?
Yeah, this is the conference room up here. Yeah. Yeah, Brian's like our third largest shop around the U.S. Small place, but, if you focus on them and they focus on you, you can really grow that shop. So it's near and dear to my heart, too, not just the cyber crimes, but this shop's in my hometown. My mom and dad live 5 minutes up the road, so it's awesome that they're here. And I get to spend time with my mom and dad, but also hang out at a great cigar lounge that supports Protocol.
So do you have to bring Juan with you at the end of the night to mom?
Oh, he's been there.
I've been there.
He's been
there. They got an awesome lounge. What tell me the name of the lounge?
The Lion's Den. It's a bar. It's not a lounge. It's a bar, but it's at their personal residence. It's not open to the public, so don't start Googling it. But
yeah. It's basically they finished out their basement into this beautiful bar. It's a little lounge area in the side.
Yeah, it's like a lounge area.
The only thing missing there, you can't smoke there. If you could smoke there, that'd be amazing.
I may have done it, but we're not doing it with 20 guys.
Now, Juan, let's start with you. 2015, you create this company, and I'm going to tell you one of the most confusing things that I had was it Protocol or was it Cuba or a Canary? however you pronounce it, which nobody could pronounce.
Right.
So the official name of the company is still.
Yes. So when we created the name, it was Bill and I at the time. We created the name of the company. So the name of the company is Cuba Riqueño. So of course, Bill being Cuban, me being Puerto Rican, we put it together. In Spanish, Cuba is Cubano. In Spanish, Puerto Rican is Puerto Riqueño. So you mix it together, we created boom, Cuba Riqueño Cigar Company. We wanted to originally name the cigar the same name as the company, but Eric Espinoza, in his wisdom, told us, don't do that because all these gringos out here are not going to be able to pronounce it. And you just kind of showed it in the beginning.
I'm the perfect.
It's very difficult.
I can't say it.
It's very difficult. You know, even a lot of Latinos, you know, it's hard if you don't roll the R and the right space in the right place. But so we decided, okay, let's not. And then, you know, Eric gives us a lot of advice. Sometimes we listen, sometimes we don't. On that section, we did actually listen, and it was for the best. So we kept the name of the company, and it still is Cuba Riqueño Cigar Company. And then we had to think of the name, so that's what we came up with Protocol. But it's just funny how, not through our doing, but it just the name Protocol became the name of the company as well through you guys more so, because you know, people would be like, yeah, Protocol Cigars, Protocol Cigars, Protocol Cigars. And the lineup, it wasn't, you have anything from Cuba Riqueño. Because so when we do press releases, so what we did in press releases now, we actually, like the last press release you've gotten, we now say Protocol Cigars are releasing it, not because we want to change the name of the company, and all our invoices and everything official is still Cuba Riqueño, but just to make it easier for you guys, we're adopting that. It's almost the same thing with like tatuaje, right?
Yeah. So what I had to do is, you know, I actually ended up using the official name when you first came out. Any reviews and news were going under that and the cigar menu that I had. So people look for that. But the problem is everybody's looking at me going, have you ever reviewed any Protocol? I said, yeah, they're up there. And I'm like, oh, because it doesn't say Protocol. So the consumers are looking for Protocol. They're not looking for the other. So I have to put up the other one, and then I have to put them in both menus. So I'll tag them both ways and either way. That way people can find it whether they're Latin or gringo.
Yeah, so most people were doing searches on Protocol Cigars, and that's what we were like, you know something, just let's that's the way the consumer, I guess the cigar, let's call it the consumers were calling us by Protocol Cigars, asking for us at the shops as Protocol Cigars. So while we didn't change the name from Cuba Riqueño Cigar Company to Protocol, we've adopted the Protocol Cigar, I guess, terminology or theme, but still the name of the company on all official letterheads and stuff. But it's still Cuba Riqueño. When we do invoices and we send invoices to the shops and stuff, it's all says Cuba Riqueño. But when we do press releases, we decided it was actually a choice we did earlier this year. We're thinking about, it's even before Bill left the company, we were like, let's just call it Protocol, just simpler for everybody.
Everyone was calling it that anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, funny story. I had a meeting with a web designer that I've ran into a few times, really good guy. And he goes, I just want to sit with you. He goes, I liked your website. You know, it was very, very, very basic. It was, you know, almost a joke at that point. And we recognized that. But, you know, do we need the website? We're big on social media. And we have one now. And the guy was very, you know, helpful. He goes, dude, if I look at anything on the internet, you guys are Protocol Cigars, yet your website is cubariqueño.com. Who can type that in? And he goes, I did you a favor. ProtocolCigars.com is available. And he goes, I bought it for $5. It's yours. So I can't thank that guy enough. He's been a big asset, and I've referred him to a bunch of friends. So he's got some business out of it.
Who's that? Who did that?
But, the guy, what's his name? Jeremy from, you've met him a few times. Real dapper looking guy. We met him at CI Hamburg. He always hangs out there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you met him a few times. So
very nice.
We own that name now, but you can go to cubariqueño.com if you want to type it in, or go to protocolcigars.com, a lot easier.
Well, if they type in Cuba Riqueño, you should have him forward that now.
It does.
So it does. It goes to the same website. Yeah, it goes to the same website. It's the same thing. You just type it in either way you want. Goes to the same thing. But you know, that that was funny because I'm like, yeah, why the heck would they have registered Cuba or Kenya? Who's going to be able to type that in? And then we would just tell everybody back we didn't have protocolcigars.com. Just Google protocolcigars.com. It goes right to Cuba or Kenya on the Google top search. So
Well, my spell check now understands it, but now we'll have to use it.
it takes a while. Yeah. I still have to write it on checks.
We forgot to share this, by the way. I usually, well, then again,
Yeah, Juan will share it when he's.
I always do this. I just got here and it's like.
But when you show up, like more than 2 minutes.
I should have showed up at least half an hour ago.
And you were 2 minutes on this show. Yesterday you were 3 minutes.
Yeah. I promised people shenanigans.
Yes.
That we're gonna have cigars, drinking, shenanigans, and we're.
Well, that's part of the shenanigans. One's is
it's like when I on a Friday I have a standing meeting with my boss, and I send him my activity report. We kind of go through it and what's been going on in my accounts and everything. And it's funny because I was sending it to him like 5-10 minutes before, and then I got to 15. He goes, "Man, you keep getting better every week." And now I get up super early and make sure he's got that activity report at 9 a.m. because our call is at 10. And he goes, "Man, you're killing it this week." He goes, I got an hour before. I already know what it is. Our call's going to be super short. So.
All right. So now, Juan, before you got into doing a cigar company, you were a police officer.
correct.
Were you, what level of officer were you? You detective?
All right, so I got on the force in 1998. I was with the NYPD in '98, and then in 2002, I moved over to the Port Authority because after 9/11, the Port Authority lost like 37 other officers in a 1,200-man department. I think that the number was like something like 5% of the department got lost on that day. So I'll have a quick toast to all those guys, everybody, all America, actually. It was a terrible time, but.
Now, you were a detective or uniform?
I was a straight up patrol cop for the whole 20 years. In the NYPD, I actually had taken a test to become sergeant, passed it, but I had to wait to get to 5 years in order to get promoted. And before those 5 years came around, the Port Authority called me, and the Port Authority was just a better, job, better quality of life as far as the stuff you're working, the stuff, the areas you're in. So I went with that. And then when I got over there, their promotional system, unfortunately, is more of a who kind of thing, political system. So the test, which a lot of departments are like that too, but their test was a pass or fail. It doesn't care. It doesn't matter if you got 100 or if Kevin took it and got a 65. If 65 was passing, we're on equal playing grounds. So, and then from there, it's captain's pick or whatever. And unfortunately, I was never too compliant, conformant, that kind of stuff. So I was always me, being me most of the time. And sometimes, not that I was an asshole to the cop and the people, but I didn't play well in the sandbox. I didn't conform. If they told me just to go out there and do something, I didn't do it. For me, it had to feel right to do it. So that kind of stuff.
Now, when you're doing the Port Authority, are you on the trains?
Yes. So for the first 2 years when I was in the Port Authority, I was actually in something called the Central Police Pool, which the Port Authority has about 11 facilities. It's like the George Washington Bridge, the Lincoln Tunnel, the Holland Tunnel, the bus terminal, the Port Elizabeth shipping docks over there, PATH trains, the Outer Bridge crossing, the Goethals Bridge, the Bayonne Bridge. What else am I missing?
Verrazano.
No, Verrazano is New York. Basically anything that has to connect. Oh, and then the airports, of course, LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark. So those are all the facilities. So I was in the Central Police Pool for 2 years, and there they just sent you wherever the deficiencies were. So you never had a locker. You were living out of the trunk of your car, but it was also good in the sense because you got to meet a lot of people, and there was the old saying, you can't hit a moving target. So if you're always moving around, if you fuck up somewhere, the next day they can't find you, and it was just that kind of mentality. So I did that for 2 years until the PATH train. The PATH train is a train that connects Hoboken, Harrison, Jersey City,
Newark.
Newark. What else? I say? All to
Elizabeth.
like Lower Manhattan. They go into the World Trade Center, and then they go to Hoboken, and then it goes like to Christopher Street, 19th, 23rd, and 34th Street. So I think that station, that particular system has maybe 11 stops altogether. Small train system, but it connects all that surrounding Jersey area into that Lower Manhattan, the big financial district,
Mhm.
and all the way up to Midtown Manhattan. So the ridership was really high. So I was doing transit there. Basically, like all the kind of stuff you always see, like turnstile jumpers, quality of life stuff. Towards the end, I started working on the desk dispatching because, you don't want to be with 20 years on the job or 18 years and still running around in the streets. So I basically got a house mouse position and did
So I was
that.
going to ask you when you were on the trains, because when I was in college, way back in like 1970s, I used to ride the D train
Yeah,
late at night, like 3 o'clock in the morning from Coney Island Avenue all the way to Flatbush in Brooklyn.
right.
And I saw a lot of weird shit. What's the craziest thing you ever seen on train?
So I'll tell you on the PAV train when I was on it, it wasn't really crazy, but it was just weird. So they would have in the wintertime, if it goes underneath 32 degrees, you'd have a winter advisory where you couldn't throw the homeless people out of the train because basically if they were homeless, they could die with frostbite, everything. So we kind of would let them ride the train. So what would wind up happening is you have this 8-train cart, and overnight, always in the middle, it became like they all just congregated there, and you'd open it up and people have tents. It'd be the most bizarre. It was like a city within that middle cart, and you'd walk in there and it smelled. Oh man, it was just terrible. But that would only be during the course of the night, and then they get rid of them all, and then it'd be back to normal by the morning time. But I think it was like you couldn't have them leave the system after 11 o'clock until 6. So and I used to do the midnights. So, and then these guys, they're not stupid. They know the laws, and they're like, oh, you can't throw me out. It's winter advisory, blah, blah, blah. And, so that was like, that's one of the most bizarre. And the strangest thing that ever happened to me in the train, I was actually on the L train heading to work. This is when I was in the NYPD. I was on the L train headed to work. That's when I worked at Canarsie. And I was in the train. I lived in Far Rockaway in Queens at the time. So I take the A train to Broadway Junction, transfer to the L, take that into Canarsie. Anybody that knows New York in that area knows it's like a really bad area. So of course I always have my gun and stuff. And I'm young on the job. This is like 99. I'm taking a train and I'm the only guy in the cart, and these 2 guys walk in. I'm reading a magazine. I don't remember what it really was, but I'm watching them. I look up. They come in from the cart because they have these doors that connect. All the trains are connected. You can walk in from car to car, right? So both of them come into a car. I'm standing in one of these 2-seaters, love seats you call them in the thing, where they're usually by the end of the door. You probably remember those 2 smaller ones.
Yep.
I'm sitting there because that always, to me as a New Yorker, those are the best seats, because now the possibility you only have is one person sitting next to you instead of having 2 people on each side. That to me is the worst when you're riding the train. But worst case scenario, you get one guy sitting next to you, and then that only happens if the train has to be filled, because nobody, it's weird to go sit right next to a stranger. You think that's elderly. Right. So that's the only reason I sat in those chairs. So one guy comes in, long story short, he stands by the door, the other one stands by the side, and the doors open up, you hear bing, boom, that noise it makes, bing, bing, whatever the fuck the noise the doors make. The guy holds his leg and he holds the door open, but you see that all the time, so I wasn't really thinking nothing of it. The other guy goes to walk out, but as he's walking out, he grabs, I had a chain, he grabs my chain and he pops it and he starts to go. But instantly, as soon as he did like this, with this hand, like I grabbed him and I pulled him in, and with this hand, like I grabbed him by his throat and I drag him down. His friend, thank God, his friend saw that and left. Then the doors closed. And that was the first time in my life that I actually had, us as human beings, we get into a lot of fights, right? Maybe in school, you get into a fight with somebody, but 9 times out of 10, it's somebody you know. So even when you're fighting, there's still some reservation. You guys don't really want to hurt each other, or you fight a friend and you hurt each other. Even when, as a cop, when you're in full uniform and you're fighting somebody, the person's probably not going to go all out because he knows if he hurts you, there's going to be a higher charge. So there's always some sort of reservation. So at this point, I pull this kid in. The only thing I am to him is he's a criminal and I'm his victim. So he has nothing to lose. If he wants to try to kill me,
Were you in uniform or no uniform?
I was in plain clothes. On my way to work. I was in regular clothes. So now this is the first time after then, and the only time I've ever been in a fight, which was pretty much to the death. And because in reality, New York, Brooklyn, you're robbing people, and that happens. You're meant to you gotta say to yourself, I gotta kill this guy. So he's probably thinking I'm gonna have to kill this guy, whatever. And we're going at it. Like we're going full. This is some young. Well, I was young back then too. 98. Do the math. How old was I? 98. He doesn't even know. I was probably like 24 or something. So I was still young. But he was like 18 years old, and we're there fighting for real. And we are just like punching each other. Like it's going all over the place. I'm like, I gotta gain control of this fucking thing. This can't be a street fight. So he gets like, I get on, I sit down and he gets on top of me and I push him off. When I push him off, he lands on his knees and he's coming towards me. At that time, I already had my gun out and I had it like I'm in close position. I didn't want to put it out because they could take it away from you. And he didn't see it. So he gets on top of me and starts to like almost like climb me. And I didn't pistol whip him, but I gave him a little nod check, like boom, boom, boom. And then when he looked back and he saw the gun, he got on his knees and he started, praying, pleading for his life. And then that's when I continued to scream at him. I started, I lost my voice for like 2 days after that. So I must have, all that pent up energy that I had, I was like, yo, fuck you, mother. I was like, hey, look, you picked the wrong motherfucker today. And all this shit, and I'm talking to him and look, I still got my chain. And I was just screaming at him and he's sitting there. So as this is happening, I have my gun on him. The conductor comes in and it's like, he stops. He goes, oh my God, are you a cop? I'm like, yeah. Listen, this guy just tried to rob me. This is an emergency. Bypass the next 2 stops, go straight to the main, call it in. So long story short, we get in, they call it in, and I'm holding the gun to the guy. And then once I see the cops coming, because they got, I'm thinking as a cop, like they don't know what's going on. They see somebody with a gun, it could go bad. I holster my gun and I put my hands up and I'm like, police, 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 and then boom, boom, boom. So that was the most interesting that happened to me on the train.
Never heard that story.
Yeah,
That's a great story, and that's it. So okay, we're gonna take a short break here. I'm gonna pay some quick bills. When we come back, come back, you'll watch this with me, and we're gonna talk a little about Kevin's story, and then we're gonna tie it all together into what I'm smoking tonight.
Awesome.
All right. So let me just do a quick share here. So tonight's show is brought to you once again by Frontline Cigars. Frontline Cigars is a Chicagoland-based online cigar shop. They are always on the front line of flavor with innovation and giving back to those who serve. They're a first responder-owned company. The Frontline Cigars strive to give back to those that serve, whether it be first responders or military, through numerous charitable foundations. You can always find a full wide range of cigars at Frontline, with boutique to everyday brands, and in addition to a fine selection of cigar accessories and swag. So next time you're looking to try something, contact frontlinecigars.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Tarazona Cigars. At Tarazona Cigars, they're passionate about the cigars they make. Since 2002, they've taken the pride in the quality and craftsmanship of every cigar that goes into every box of Tarazona. At Tarazona Cigars, they do it with passion.
Good people, man. Let's have a toast to Eddie. Eddie's great people.
As a toast to Eddie, absolutely. Eddie Tarazona, thank you.
Let me tell you something, Boston. So after that fight, and it was like in 98, right? 99, like that. You never really, like, we're all men and we all boast, but you're never placed in a situation like that where you actually, again, you fight your friend, you guys, get into involved with something, you fight your brother, that's one thing, but there's always reservation, man. I never looked at, not that I want to say I'm tough, but to survive a life, a life-threatening fight like that, like it's life or death, it really makes you kind of like look at life a little bit differently and stuff.
For sure it does. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Kevin, let's turn the table to you for a moment.
Give me your
You've
story
been
like that.
looking and supporting Protocol for a while, but not as a partner in the business, right? Until recently.
Yeah. So I started out, good friends with Bill and Juan. We started at a cigar club together. And, Juan and I had our fights, but never fisticuffs, right? But, I was just always there, and I loved what they were doing. I was super excited that they were coming out with Protocol Cigars. And, just being good friends, where am I going to be when they're doing an event? It's like, I'm going to the Protocol event, and I have a sales background, being a sales engineer for internet security for my entire career, just about. And, I would go to events, they would be Bill and Juan, hosting the party, but I was making sure that people understood what the deals were, what the blends were. If they had questions, I'd be working the table. And, it just ended up that, I was able to buy into the company. And now, Juan and I are, here's the two faces of Protocol. So it's a dream come true.
So as part of the reward for buying into that, this year, Protocol has extended their line with what I've been smoking tonight, the cyber crimes unit.
Yes, you got
Why don't you talk about this cigar that I'm smoking?
I'm really excited about it. I got to thank Juan. The company went through a transition this year. Now that Juan and I are, the two partners running it. And I came to Juan, even with COVID, it's been a blessing in disguise. And I don't want to say COVID's a blessing. It's not. It's been really tough on everyone in the country. But I came to Juan and I said, look, we're kind of delayed. COVID, put everybody, on their heels. And I said, one of the things that I've always had in the back of my mind as being a partner in Protocol, and I've always kind of been involved in the company. I said, if we did the cyber crimes unit, I said it gives a little homage to me with my day job, internet security, but also ties into the Protocol theme, because I always joke that I'm the internet cop of the company because I'm not in law enforcement. And Juan was all in. Juan was like, absolutely. We sat down, and in 20 minutes, we had the whole Matrix theme. We were kind of spitballing green pea, and I can't thank him enough for that. We're doing really cool box packaging. Juan actually went a step further and asked for inside the box. It's going to be a Vista with the green pea. It's gonna, be that kind of Matrix theme. We got peas in there, so there's a lot of details you guys can see. But he also made it a hologram, because he knew that would pop. And I'm like, you kidding me? He goes, no, I talked to the sticker guy, can make it happen. So, the blend is going to be Nicaraguan Rosado, Nicaragua binder filler.
Beautiful reddish color. I can tell you that right now. Just look at that. That is absolutely
the initial
gorgeous
feedback, and I hope people aren't lying to me, because that's my baby right now. But the initial feedback, everyone's coming up and telling me, the ones that have had it. If you joined Lazona Palooza Virtual this year, you got a 5-pack. You got the second level up. I forget all the levels. And then Dee Pittman with the Royal Leaf. Love her. We were able to get the leftover samples, the pre-release. And the pre-release is going to be the regular release, not anything different. Just we didn't have the fans and packaging ready for time for her event. We purchased those and we sold them through her, and everyone was loving it. So those will be coming here in the next couple of weeks. We're really excited about that. But yeah,
well, let's tell them, people out there that are interested in getting these. Let's say if you didn't get the Lazona Palooza package, or you missed out on these event, the location we're at now, Caravan Cigar Company, they actually got a few of these in, and they got a great deal. Tell them about the deal, Kevin.
Yeah, right now they're selling them for $50 a pack. CaravanCigars.com. You can still go to the royalleaf.net. I believe she has them available there. We got a couple left there. So when these are gone, these are pre-release. So I know a lot of guys like unicorns out there. These are gone. But when the boxes come out, the full packaging, It's going to be, regular, protocol release. These aren't going away anytime soon, but these and these labels are going to be unicorns. So the guys that like those, grab your 5-packs, age them. They're going to be amazing.
And I have to say, this is the third one I have smoked. Okay. And there will be a review coming out shortly on this pre-release. I know, looking at it. It's got a really thick, creamy, chewy smoke to it, which is what I like in a cigar. The drawer has been absolutely perfect.
And it's totally up to you if you want to do a review now or wait till, because when we get them in, I'm going to send you a dress box. Like all of social, all of Cigar Media. Yeah. All of Cigar Media gets a box so they can take pictures and do
I will take my notes.
And just so you know, Boston Jimmie, for everybody out there, the pre-release, these are the actual cigars. So they just took it out the line that we had, but they're the same cigars, nothing different. We just didn't have the packaging and the bands with the green key on it available. So
yes, I would describe this, and I do this once in a while. It's got that smoke ring texture. Some cigars you smoke them, and it's got a full volume of smoke, but it's not thick. It's not cream thick.
I just put that on my Facebook. You need to show.
Perfect for putting out. If you like to do smoke rings, it's great for smoke rings. I love doing that. Very oily cigar. It's nice.
Yeah, perfect.
We'll get into more of that. So now, Juan, both of you guys, when did you all really get into smoking cigars? Okay. Or did you have family members that were smoking or in the business?
I've said the story before, but it's kind of, maybe for those that haven't heard it before, it's kind of an interesting story. I've literally, when the thing that makes this company very different is that we are not second, third, fourth generation cigar makers, right? We weren't born in the fields, and our mothers gave birth to us in the field and wrapped us in a tobacco leaf. And, like story you hear often. I'm just joking. But anyway, that wasn't a traditional thing. We are literally, cigar consumers, cigar nerds that had a chance to come out with a company. But for me, the way I got exposed to tobacco was basically my entire life, but maybe not the way most people would think. It's not like my father, my grandfather, my father worked in tobacco. Well, actually, my grandfather early on, like in the 1920s, did work in tobacco fields, but I didn't find that out until years later. Actually, in the last few years, my grandmother told me. She never told me that, but that wasn't really, what was going on. But so I grew up with my grandparents because I just liked, I like older people a lot. I've always a young person, like really had a lot of respect for my elders and the seniors and stuff. So I would always go out of my way to help people that were older than me. It was just my thing. I guess that was my upbringing my parents gave me. So one time I see my grandparents living like 3 blocks away from my mother, and I'm like, Mom, listen, you got my 2 sisters, you got Dad, all Grandma and Grandpa have all themselves. They're lonely there. You mind if I go move in with them? And she was like, yeah, you're only 2 blocks away. I had no problem. So I moved in with them for a few years just to keep them company, try to help them out around the house, do whatever I could because I really loved them a lot. But they both practiced what's a religion called Santeria. And during Santeria, some of the rituals of Santeria, actually, there's a lot of cigar smoking. So I enjoyed a lot of the smells of the tobacco. When my grandfather would do certain rituals with tobacco. As a matter of fact, there was a show where I did a cleansing and Kevin. Remember that time I showed him how because and it kind of goes back to what I've said and also many times. Tobacco. This is a very spiritual item. This is not like a cigarette where you smoke it because you need it. Like when you talk about real raw tobacco and the tobacco product itself, it's almost a spirituality to it because a lot of times you do it to celebrate certain things, to bond with people. And it's almost like, the Mayans did it, 2,000 years ago. The Native Americans did it with the peace pipes and all that stuff. So there is a spirituality to this product. And within a lot of the rituals, they say the smoke wards away evil spirits and things of that nature. So besides the cleansing, there was also the offering. So my grandfather would light up a cigar, put it in an ashtray, put a little glass of wine there, and that'd be an offering to whatever particular deity it was. Most of the time it was Shango. And I would sneak into the room, and when I saw he left, because they were so hardcore, they had a room that was like the saints' room, like their shrine, a little mini church in their house or whatever. I go sneak in there. I start puffing on a cigar. Ooh, I start drinking a drink. I'm like, oh, this is good. And that's what I kind of learned, like wine and this drink. And then when I would hear him come in, I'd put the cigar down, I'd put the freaking wine down and like hide or sneak out of the room. And I'd always hear him, oh my God, the saints accepted my offering, like, and I'd laugh. I'm sure, Grandpa, I know you had to know it was me, but, God bless his soul. But, that was my exposure. And I always liked the smell of it. And I would smoke, shit cigars until like in '98. I was smoking like Habitampa, Garcia Vegas, those things. I didn't know better. And it wasn't until 1998, 99, I was in the NYPD. We're doing barbecue one day. And I'm there barbecuing. And this cop goes to me and goes, what is that you got? I was like, this is a cigar. He takes it out of my mouth. He throws it on the floor and he stomps in it. And I'm mad. I'm like, yo, what the fuck you doing? He goes, no, that's not a cigar. And he goes in his pocket and he puts it like, this is a cigar. And I look at it. And I was like, wow, it was just probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I was like, wow, this is gorgeous. It was a Oil de Monterrey Excalibur #3 Maduro. I remember.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm looking at it like, wow, this is beautiful. So I take it out of the wrapper, I smell it. My God, intoxicating. I'm like, what is this soda? So I go to cut it. I go like this, put it in my mouth. He goes, whoa, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm gonna cut it. He goes, that's the way you cut it. And he actually took the cutter out, scissor cutter, boom, cut it. I'm like, that's the way you cut it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I take out the Bic. And he goes, whoa, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm gonna light my cigar. He goes, that's not the way you light a cigar. He took out his little torch, boom, and he lit it, and I smoked it. And I was just like, wow, this is just like a totally different level. And I was like, yo, where you got this? And I was like, oh, it's from in New York. The New Yorkers remember this. They might even still have them. Bodegas called Tiamos, where they would sell a lot of.
I remember Tiamos.
Yeah, Tiamos.
Yeah.
But they would sell Tiamos, but they also would sell regular cigars. So I started going in there.
They sold beer. They sold other
stuff.
Yeah.
So I worked midnights over there, and I just started going to the guy, and I would spend probably 2 or 3 hours a night talking cigars, and the guy would just every night give me a cigar, try this, try that, and it was all premium stuff. We were talking about tobacco, and one day one of the old timers drives by, and he goes, "Hey, I saw you parked in front of the Tiamo. What were you doing in there?" I was like, I was smoking cigars, man. These guys are so nice that they bring me, they're teaching me about cigars. They give me cigars. And he goes, Juan, do you think they're being nice to you because they want to teach you something or for another reason? I'm like, nah, the guys just love me. They don't love you. They love the blue. Think about it. The guy gives you a $2 cigar, and you're there from 3 in the morning to 5 in the morning. The highest crime rate in the whole precinct. You're right there talking to the guy. Somebody walks in, rob the place. They see you in there. They're walking right out. Oh, I get it. I still stayed there. I didn't care because I was having a great time.
How about you, Kevin? What got you started with the Leaf?
I realized after this show, my life's very boring compared to Juan's. My brother quit cigarettes, and I've had cigars prior to that. This was back probably 2004, 2003, somewhere in there. And we were at my mom and dad's. We're very close to them. And my brother's like, hey, I just got the cigars, whatever. I'm going to go to this place, Cigars International. Didn't know anything about it, but they had a brick and mortar in our area near my mom and dad, actually right down the road from where we're at right now. And so we went over, and I said, I don't know, I've had a couple of cigars at a wedding. I don't know what I smoke. So my brother's like trying to show me stuff, and you talk to the guys there, and they turn you on to things. You think you're a full body guy when you start out, and you found out you're not. And I don't know, I don't do anything half in my life, right? So when I get into something, I want to know everything about it. It intrigued me. It's like, okay, so I started looking things up online. And, okay, it's hand rolled, it's all natural, this and that, right? Which I kind of knew beforehand. It wasn't a cigarette. I was never a smoker, but I just started geeking out on it. I did that with, home theater stuff, with the internet security thing. I don't do half on anything. And I really found a passion for it. And then, I met Bill Ives, moved into my town when I moved to Glen Gardner, where I live now. And, I was still learning, and Bill was like educating me because he was a little bit more seasoned smoker. We met Juan, and that's kind of history, and now I own a freaking cigar company. Who would have thought? But again, I don't do anything half. If I want to get into something, I got to know everything about it. I want to know what it is, and sometimes you learn about it and you're like, okay, that was cool, but I'm going to move on to something else. But cigars are a passion for the rest of my life. Like, yeah, I just love the people that I've met in the industry. Bill, Juan, previous Bill Gathis was in the company as well early. And all the guys that are hanging out here, and the shop owners, all of our supporters out there, as Juan says. I Boston Jimmie, we hung out. I remember this very well. We were at Fuego down in Vegas. We had a great conversation there. I'll never forget that. But little things like that, it's just the cigar community. You meet all walks of life, and I'm a people person, as Juan knows he is as well. I'm in sales, so you got to deal with a lot of people, but it's just the interaction. I've loved every second of it.
So we got a question from the audience. Larry Adams asks, from a Protocol line, which one do you suggest I try first, and do you sell a sampler pack of them all?
Yes, that's a great question, and we have great answers for both. Kevin, I'll let you start.
Well, it depends, Larry. So for me, I'm more of a medium-bodied cigar guy. So I like a medium full. Now, I can smoke our full-bodied lines, and I love them, but that's more of my wheelhouse. So it's going to depend on where you end up with that. For me, personally, now I just told you where I'm at. I'm going to go Cigar Peel Natural. Obviously, my baby, Cyber Crimes. If you want to try that, if you can find some of the pre-releases, save those. Those are going to be unicorns one day. And then I also really love our Themis. Even though that's our mild cigar in the line, that cigar I can keep going back to all times of the day. It's got a lot of flavor. Don't discount that one. Really take a look at that Themis.
So the Themis I like in the morning with my coffee.
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. That cigar in the morning just sets the day right.
Absolutely gets things kicked off right.
So Juan.
All right, for me, I'm trying to find the links. I guess I'll while I'm talking, find that 5-pack link so we can send it to him and can put it up here. All right, for me, all right, so it depends. If somebody asks me, I would probably first ask them what's their favorite. So I want to take what you said and kind of separate into two different questions. So if you wanted to ask me, let's say from a beginner and a person that doesn't smoke too many cigars, but they like the look of our products, what would I suggest they start with? I'll give you the lineup of how, like, we got these great 5-packs on right here, Caravan Cigar. Thank you. Caravan Cigar Company does this great, it's actually a 6-pack. There's one single of each of everything we have right now, all our SKUs. I think it's like $55. Did you send Boston Jimmie the link?
Wait, that one? I sent you the. I don't have Boston Jimmie's. Well, I have them on Facebook. I can send it there, but I sent you the Cyber Crimes 5-pack.
Just type it in the. If you watch it, if you got the show up at all, just type it.
Somebody who's watching, one of those guys, you could maybe go on Facebook and put it on there. Anyway, so I would say if I wanted to give somebody a mix, so because I am a full body smoker, right? But there are people that might be just starting out, or if you want to see the progression of strength in all 6 of our SKUs right now, I'm going to give you that order. If you want to go with the lightest body, and for us, it's light, or for me, it's light because I'm a full body smoker. I'll go with the Themis. The Themis is that beautiful Ecuadorian Connecticut shade wrapper, Nicaragua binder and filler. To me, it's a great light cigar, creamy, little bit of nuttiness, great with coffee. That's the first introductory cigar. To go to the next one, I would go to the Official Misconduct. Official Misconduct's a little bit stronger, but it has more of a creamier, heavier, almondy kind of finish to it. A little bit more of the nuttiness, more creamier, and a little bit drier, where it's not as creamy and sweet as the Themis. The next one I would go to would be the Cigar Peel Natural. That is a Ecuadorian Habano, Nicaragua binder and filler. That is cream, pepper, medium plus, great cigar. I've never heard, that's one of our top sellers right next to the Themis, actually. Then the next one in body I would do is probably be the Probable Cause, which is one of my favorites. And the reason it's one of my favorites is I absolutely adore Mexican San Andreas Maduro wrapper. For me, if you told me 5-6 years ago I was gonna have a cigar line, I would never even believe you. I think you're nuts. But if you told me what cigar I wanted to come out with, it'd definitely be something with a Mexican San Andreas. So that Probable Cause is a Mexican San Andreas Maduro wrapper, Nicaragua binder and filler, also a medium plus, but because it's Maduro, a lot of people often think Maduro means stronger. It's not always stronger. I can blend you a natural colored cigar that will knock you on your socks, depending on what I put in the filler. And I can blend you a pitch black Maduro that's light and creamy like your common Connecticut. So that's a misconception. I always try to tell people. But with that said, we blend it to be more on the fuller side. So it's a medium plus plus. And it has all the characteristics of a beautiful Mexican San Andreas. It has its beautiful chocolate notes. It's full flavored and full aroma, but plus medium plus body. The next one I would go to would probably be, now as strength, this is a toss up. So I'm going to put it, next one would be the Cigar Maduro. That's a Pennsylvania broadleaf from Pennsylvania in the Dutch country up here, Amish country in Pennsylvania, Lancaster. Nicaragua binder and filler. Great story behind that. That was me in Nicaragua. We already had the Cigar Peel. That was in 2018. We had a Cigar Peel coming out later that year. And I'm in there in February. And I'm walking around smoking the Cigar Peel Natural. I'm saying this thing is smoking so phenomenal. And they just hit me. I'm here now. Why not get ahead of the game and maybe think about next year's release, 2019 or whatever. It was last year, right? So the next year's release. I'm saying, I tell Eric, and I smoked something with a Pennsylvania broadleaf. He's like, Eric, can you get your hands on some Pennsylvania broadleaf? Can you do me a favor? Just take the wrapper off for this. Put a Pennsylvania broadleaf. I want to see how it smokes. And I did. And I'm smoking that thing, and it smoked meaty. It's like thick. It's a cigar you want to have with a steak dinner. It's just so robust and full body. So I'll be the next one. And that's also my second favorite. Then last but not least, our strongest cigar in our lineup would be the Protocol Blue, which is an Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro wrapper, a Nicaragua Habano binder, and a quadruple Ligero filler.
You missed one.
Which one?
Cybercrimes.
What? It's not available yet. If I had to put this somewhere, I would put this probably between the Cigar Peel Natural and the Probable Cause.
Yeah,
Would you agree?
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I vote for that.
All right. And then we haven't spoken about it much because COVID has really kind of like, at least this one, we're hopefully going to get it and be able to release it by the end of the year, hopefully, so it can still count as a 2020 release.
I had a phone call today. It's happening.
All right. But I got a feeling the Elliot Ness, you think that'll make it too by 2020 or no?
Elliot Ness, breaking news.
All right.
The
Let's
Boston Jimmie will be available at Caravan Cigar Company before the end of the year.
For the end of the year, Caravan Cigar Company.
Wow.
Elliot Ness. All right.
Literally right before this show.
So here's a question for you for cigar media, right? I know everybody's coming out with their top 20, top 10 cigars of the year, right? I hit something in the next 2 weeks. I sent it to you. Technically, it came out in 2021, but it was past your time frame, right? So would that count for release for next year? Or how would that work? Fill me in.
It depends on now it gets to a discussion between you and I, right?
Okay.
Usually when I get something in, I keep it in my humidor for at least a couple of weeks to acclimate.
Fair enough, yeah.
Right? Because it's going to be trucking through, you're going through some heat, some cold, some changes. You don't know what this thing's gone through. So to get it in, I have until technically the 29th of December. Because what I do is I will start releasing what I call my candidates next week. I start dripping them out. Okay. And this year I'm doing, and this year I'm actually doing something a little different than I did in my past history. I'm no longer just focusing on the boutique small guys like you. What I'm doing is I'm creating 3 categories. I have a small boutique category, I got a medium-sized category, and I got the big box guys. And I was originally going to do kind of 10 of each. But after looking at what I've done, I'm saying, nah, I'm going to do 15 of each. Okay. Because there's some that get in there just kind of tied in numbers. And it's like, okay, you know what? I'll just rank and scale them and they'll be 15 of each. Now, with that said, the question becomes, if that's a rock solid cigar, yeah, I would love to try. If I get that cigar, I'll promise you I will actually smoke that, and then I'll let you know whether I think it was ready to be in or has to be aged a little more. Because sometimes they're just not ready for me. I've had cigars that somebody would send me a box, and fresh out of the box, I'd be like, yeah, I didn't like this cigar. And then I just leave it alone. I take them out. I put some in a desktop humidor that's humidified. I have in my electronically controlled humidor. I put them in different humidity factors, believe it or not. And I learned this from Skip Martin that I'll ask you this question. This is a very important question. What humidity factor do you recommend a particular cigar to be best smoked at? When you smoked that cigar, you had the best experience. Is it 62? Is it 70? Is it 65? Did you know that number?
I do. Well, for me, I'll let Juan comment for him, but I think, our cigars and Espinosa cigars, we're a big fan, obviously. That's our factory. Smoke a lot of his stuff too. But everywhere that I've had the best experience, it's right around the 69, 70%.
So a higher humidity factor, you would say.
Yeah, that's where we keep. That's how we store our cigars in our humidor at our warehouse. I think right around 69, 70%. I think that's kind of the sweet spot for what I'm experiencing. Now, I'm not saying you can't take our cigars lower in humidity and you're not going to have a good experience. It's just maybe a different experience, but right around there, 68, 70. I think that's a good sweet spot.
Okay.
For me, at home, I try to keep everything about 65.
65.
That's where I'm at. That's why I like a little bit more tighter, a little bit more, just a little bit more. So, but still, 65, 70 is pretty much the same thing. It's not like something drastic. I'm saying it's a 60, but it's in that kind of ballpark. Once in a blue, depending what it is, I like to dry box some stuff like heavy duty Maduros. I kind of like them a little bit drier, but generally, like when I take them out at 65 from my personal humidor, I've never had a problem.
I've actually heard that. I have an actual good friend that he's very much a cigar aficionado. This guy's, one of my good friends that I work with in internet security. And he says he takes the cigars out, all of the cigars, not just ours. He'll take them out and he lets them sit on his desk during the day while he's working. And then in the evening, that's his lineup for the night. And he lets them sit out. He's like, I want them to sit out, like get acclimated to the relative humidity in my house. Now they're still going to hold whatever they had, but that's the way he does it, So it's whatever your personal preference is at the end of the day.
I mean, I do know that some cigars from both flavor and burn will vary by humidity, without a doubt.
Yes, they will. Absolutely.
And it's just, like I know Skip says his work better. I think he said at 63.
Skip
high up and sometimes they don't burn as well.
We got the Panerai love.
You guys on a time clock?
Yeah, he's a watch guy.
We're watch guys. We both like, Skip and I both love Panerais. I've talked to Skip to that extent.
Hey, Jimmy, so I sent you the link. So for you guys that like to support brick and mortars and you're interested about trying a Protocol, the brick and mortar right now, Caravan Cigar Company, I sent you a link where they have a 5-pack. And it's one of each of our core lines. So it's got the Protocol Blue, Protocol Red, Protocol Gold, the Silver, and then one of each of the Robert Peel. So 6 cigars for $55, pretty decent deal. And he also has, and Kevin sent it to you on Facebook, maybe you can put it on here somewhere on Facebook. Hopefully somebody already put it up. He's also selling these, the 5-packs of the pre-release Cybercrimes Unit, limited amount he got. Those are 50. And those are doing really good. So anybody's interested in trying. And if anybody buys right now tonight, I'll have the guy here run the thing. But if anybody buys because they're watching off of your show, we'll throw in like a sticker packet. We got a bunch of stickers in the office. I'll throw a sticker pack, including my
Throwing a couple of magnets.
Yeah, a couple of magnets, refrigerator magnets, and some what do you call these things again?
Coasters.
Some coasters, some protocol coasters.
What do we call these things?
So we'll give you a whole little
Oh, beer
thing.
mats.
Beer mats.
Beer mats, yes.
Well, wait, it's holding my whiskey, so it's not a beer mat.
Another question from the audience. Mike Holmes, I think you know Mike Holmes, shirtless Mike.
Yes, we know him very well. He's a good dude. He comes in our weird way all the time.
Mike Holmes asked, why did Juan start resurrecting old Facebook posts?
So this is a funny thing to start. It started like, Kevin, when did it start?
A week ago, 2 weeks ago.
It started a week ago that a good friend of ours, John Marzala, commented on a anniversary post that Kevin put about 3 months ago, right?
Yeah.
3 months ago. So then people started saying, like, it shows back up on everybody's feed, and people start saying, oh, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. I'm like,
My actual family was saying
people don't
happy
see this is 3 months ago. So then for shits and giggles one day, I just started going into people's photos.
birthday. I went into mine first.
First was him, because I made a joke out of it. And I would find like posts from like 5 years ago. Like, let's say he's having a steak dinner. I'd be like, oh, I hope that tasted good. Do you have any leftovers?
And then my entire family is like, wow, it looks like an amazing steak dinner. I'm like, this was 5 years ago. Can you not see what they're doing? So they're like, why? And then my family was like, hey, why are your posts from 5 years ago coming up? And I go, because my friends are asses. That's
You know what
why.
else you just do? You know, in life, I always find that that laughter is a very healing energy. And it's the reason why cops, firemen, EMS guys, first responders, military people have such a morbid sense of humor that your average citizen will look at them, or civilian, I should say, the average civilian will look at them and say, these guys are fucked up. But you have to be fucked up to be able to cope with a lot of the things you see. So for me, it's something that still reigns true with my life. I think no matter how bad things are, you can somehow find something to laugh at. It makes you feel better. So I do all kind of crazy antics on social media, stuff that might not look professional. I can't even tell you how many people in the industry, you know, reach out to me like, Juan, you got to be more professional now. You know, you've been in
Like a pool party?
not even that, because
We could talk about that.
that's a phenomenal time. But besides that, they're like, whatever I'm doing, they're like, Juan, you got to take this more seriously. You know, you're in this business 6 years now. You're in this industry, blah, blah, blah. And I think about it sometimes, and I say to myself, does this world need a fat Puerto Rican Michael Hurtlocks? No, you got the real Michael Hurtlocks already. You don't need another one. You don't need an imitation. So I'm gonna be who I am. And the person that I am is I like to make people laugh. I'm not a comedian, but you know, I know laughter is good. You know how many times I do like funny, stupid stuff? And like I'll get Eric calling me like, oh, Juan, you know, don't do that. I get people, oh, you need to stop. But then I'll get a random average Joe that'll reach out to me and say, you know something, Juan, I had a bad day. I was thinking life wasn't worth living. I was just thinking how bad life is. And I opened up Facebook and I saw you do that. And I laughed and I felt better. I can't even tell how many times it's happened to me. So I'm like, listen, I'm going to keep doing it. So,
and you should.
Just to laugh though.
So cheers on that for sure.
Cheers.
So Nick from the Cigar Clowns, I think you know Nick. He wants to know, what is your favorite Protocol cigar?
I'll let you go. I've been talking a lot.
All right. My favorite, even though Cyber Crimes is my baby. Hang on. So yeah, can you plug that in? So just plug it into the laptop. We're losing power here, so I didn't know the laptop. Yeah, do it quick. So my favorite in line, and it's them. Like that cigar is my absolute freaking favorite out of the line.
Plug it into where, Kevin?
And I can't believe I'm saying that when I have a cigar coming out called the Cyber Crimes after my name. But if I had to go to one, that would be my one. Now, I do love the Cyber Crimes, but if I had one,
Kevin,
line,
yeah, I see that.
we're good. But yeah,
Which one was it?
the Themis.
Oh, the Themis.
The gold label. Yeah, the Themis. I could smoke that any time of day. that cigar is medium to me, but, mild, as we come out with it, but it's got Lajero in it. That cigar just, it rocks. I love it in every size.
For me, at once upon a time, it was a toss-up between the Probable Cause, because you guys know I love Mexican San Andreas, as I said before.
That was your baby.
And the Sir Robert Peel Maduro, because not only do I love the flavor, but it was my first time actually coming up with an idea myself and saying, do this. I want to see how it is. And it was so good for me. And I loved it. So the flavors alone, I love both. But the Sir Robert Peel Nat Maduro, a little bit for me, has a special place in my heart, because not only does the project have a special place in my heart, because I worked on that project for a while. I wanted to get it just so different than everything else we've ever done and give you guys just like shock a lot of people. And when those things came out, bro, I can't tell you how many people in the industry told us, what are you guys doing? You're getting away from what you're known, this kind of look. Now you're doing something else. And we wanted to, we always go for the average Joe, but we said even the average Joe likes to put on a nice suit and drink a nice scotch and a snifter and smoke a nice cigar, but still be an average Joe. So that's what we did the Sir Robert Peel, a bit more regal. But those were my top two. But now I must say that the Elliot Ness Maduro was probably one of the best cigars I ever smoked. It was just absolutely fantastic. I wish we had more to do this like we did with this, like the pre-release thing. I would love to have done that, but we couldn't. But hopefully we still get them in and you'll get a box to try them. They are so amazing to me. I think that's going to be I'm going to smoke those like crazy.
And going to what Juan said, like the higher end line, I don't want you guys to think that they're $20 cigars. They're not, right? We priced them accordingly, right? We're a small company. We can't do that. It's not going to work, right? I'm a business guy. I get it. So you're talking $11.95 MSRP, right? So you're at your local shop, you're getting 10% off. You got a club, you're getting whatever off, right? So you can still get those cigars for under $10. So, if you look around. So, just realize that every now and then, look at Protocol, a regular core line. Yes, that's, the bread and butter that, Protocol is putting out. It's Robert Peel. And now we're calling it the Lawman series. Pay attention to that. And I get it. You got a budget, you got to work within that. But every now and then you'll find them on sale. You'll find them at your shop. And if you get that club discount, whatever it is, your member discount. But pick one of those up, try it out. We're at $11.95 MSRP. That's what LENS is coming out at, $11.95. So yes, it's a higher end line. It's more, exclusive tobacco, more. I don't want to say premium because all of it's premium tobacco, but it's a higher end. We put a lot of work into that. So the higher priming, just take a look at those. You never know; they could be in your rotation. You really love it, and you can get them at a decent price.
All right, let's. I'm going to do a quick lightning round. So keep it short.
All right.
This is individual questions. Okay. Juan, favorite rock and roll band.
Favorite rock and roll band? That's a great question. Let me think quick. AC/DC, Thunder, okay. #1 song.
There you go. Kevin, since you're a watch guy, favorite watch brand?
Favorite watch brand right now is IWC. Even though I love my Panerized, IWC.
So Kevin again, favorite car brand?
Ooh.
If you were to drive any car in the world, what would it be?
I owned one, Porsche.
Okay. Juan, best or worst date experience?
Best or worst date experience?
Pick either one.
I'm going to go with the worst. I am 18 years old at the end of my prom. We're trying to get into all these kind of clubs and we're in Brooklyn. So I'm in downtown Brooklyn trying to get into clubs after my prom, 18 years old. Everywhere they're looking at us, laughing at us. Get out of here, kid. Get out of here, kid. I'm like, I want to take the girls somewhere nice to eat. You know where we wound up? McDonald's on Atlantic Avenue. McDonald's on Atlantic Avenue. Yeah. Big Macs and French fries for an exquisite dinner. And we had some soda pop. It was awesome.
Juan, one more for you.
Got it.
Biggest fear?
Biggest fear. Okay. it's going to be very family oriented. So my biggest personal fear is that I am not able to give the best possible life that I can to my children. That's my number one most important concern in life. That's what gets me up and gives me the energy to do whatever it is I'm doing, because I'm trying to give the best possible life to my children.
And
Especially
last one for
fun.
Kevin. What fictional character would you want to meet?
Fictional character?
That should have been my question.
That should have been Juan's question, but it would be Wolverine.
That's a good
Wolverine.
one. I'll toast to that.
Wolverine. I
think you're sitting next to him.
That's awesome.
I love Wolverine.
I'm impressed with that one.
Big muscles, just Wolverine. That was my boy.
Okay, I know we're a little bit over the hour, but I got to do one thing here, and then we'll close it out. One more question.
People are enjoying it. We go a little bit over. It's okay.
Yeah, we can go over. But at this point of the show, I go through what's new in news and reviews on Stogie Press. So we do a quick review of the week.
By the way, I like your long hair and your beard. I like what's going on there. It looks good.
My wife says it's a hot mess, and I'm like, I haven't done anything with this since March. I refuse to go anywhere other than pick up the pizza on Friday night or a bottle of whiskey. That's it. I stay here. I'm in my bubble, and I haven't cut it. And I tell you what, it's getting longer. It's almost as long as it was when I was in college, and I want it. But I will probably get rid of it either December 31st, as I welcome in the new year, or January 20th.
I'm a fan of long hair. Like, I've always wanted long hair, but ever since I've been like 16 years old, I've had jobs where they required you to have high and tights, and the most facial hair you can have is mustaches. Then when I retired 2 years ago, January will be 2 years, I was like, I've always wanted long hair. So my hair is probably about by my shoulder braids in the back right now, and I want to keep going. I want to keep going.
Me too. And the beard as I'm an engineer by trade, so as an engineer, I'm truly a gray beard now. I'm the guy that sits on the mountaintop and just professing stuff. But anyway, let's go through this real quick. So this week, through Cigar News, it was a kind of a light week. Alec and Bradley announced that they're beginning shipment of their Kintsugi, the tobacconist worldwide. This cigar here comes in 4 different vitolas, and it's in a beautiful dress box with a lot of Japanese lettering on it. So you can see these showing up in shops now. Get out there and check it out if you are an Alec Bradley fan or an Alec and Bradley fan. The other news that came out was Blanco Cigars announced their Prince Hall cigar. Prince Hall Cigars is named after the founder of the Prince Hall Masonry, and this is the father of the Black Freemasonries. So he created a cigar for that. Comes in a beautiful box. It's beautiful oily cigars. Habano Maduro, Sumatra, and Nicaragua, 4 different vitolas. And it also has a Habano Rosado, which is a Habano Rosado from Nicaragua, kind of a Nicaraguan Puro here in the almost similar 4 vitolas. So check that out if you're a Blanco Cigars fan. And the Flor Dominicana announced, and I got to double check this. So this is so next week on December 16th, they are doing an evening of appreciation. And they're having this, hosting it at the Empire Cigar Lounge, the social lounge in Miami. There's also going to be a live broadcast if you want to be socially distant. And they're going to be announcing this new cigar that they're going to have at the show. And also you can scan this if you want to donate to the charity that they're running on this. There's a scan code here that you can donate to. And then we also put out on our YouTube channel the Big Time Tommy show that we did a couple weeks ago. If you haven't seen this show, this is one of the best shows we had. Big Time Tommy is hilarious. We had a great time. It was kind of definitely an extended show, but we went through a lot of his life and what he's doing, and he's actually creating and should be coming out with very shortly a 7x70 made by Asylum. That's a Big Time Tommy cigar. He talks all about it in this, and he also talks about his venture with what's called Good Fucking Wine. And he has a partnership in that where if you never tried Good Fucking Wine, I have. If you like wine, check out goodfuckingwines.com for sure. So that's kind of the news this week. It was a light week in news. From cigar reviews, we did 3 cigar reviews. First one blew me away. Okay.
I had one of those. Phenomenal.
Just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal cigar. The oiling on this, absolutely gorgeous.
I say we have a toast to Nick Molino because he's doing a phenomenal thing.
He's doing phenomenal. Absolutely. This here highlights a Connecticut broadleaf. As you know, Nick Molino is a son of Connecticut. His feet are in that soil there. He understands Connecticut broadleafs. It's got a San Andreas binder, which is something that is a rarity these days because you got to get the burn right. And when you put that in there, sometimes that binder is not going to burn as well as you want, and you get burn issues. Not this case. And it's got Honduran and Nicaraguan fillers from Jamastran, Jalapa, and Esteli. I got caramel, cedar, cream, floral, natural sweetness, spice, and nice syrupy aromas coming off of it. You could just look at some of the burn characteristics on this.
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful, beautiful burn, beautiful ash, all the way down. Took it to the nub. The ash only fell once the whole way through. Absolutely gorgeous. There were no point deductions on this at all. And he got bonus points on this extreme ash, a pristine burn, and it was consistent across the samples.
Might be a candidate for Cigar of the Year, it seems. 97 is pretty high.
Yeah. This is up there. I think there's one other one that might be tied with him right now.
Wow.
So he's that's a fun. Now this is the David. Now I still have to smoke the Goliath, and I'm going to see if Goliath can beat David. I don't think Goliath beats David because it's a bigger, fatter Perfecto, and I just have this feeling that I might have some burn issues that might deduct a point or two along the way. But we'll see. We're going to have that battle.
Well, you can't have Goliath beating David because then you'll leave that history, right?
Exactly.
That's blasphemy.
That's blasphemy. The next one we looked at was a company called Carolina Blue. Carolina Blue has a number of cigars they've sent me. I'm starting to go through these. This one here is the San Andreas Maduro. This one came in an 88. Flavor wise, it had a lot of different flavors, but there were very nuanced flavors that went through it. It wasn't in my face. San Andreas wrapper. It had a Dominican Ola binder and a San Vicente and Pilato Cubano, 98, and Nicaragua. So I had a pretty bold filler, but it just didn't seem to all pull it all together. All right. And from a burn perspective, also, it started doing this. All right. It kind of had a flat burn cone. You can see it just wasn't doing its thing, and then it kind of slid off. But overall, big problem was we had on this, had a very harsh start on it. Had a wavy burn, had a very flaky ash. It had these astringent notes in the second, third that just kind of couldn't find itself, and it was taking too long to get to where it wanted to go. So this one came in at an 88. And then the last one that we looked at was the Rocky Patel Hamlet 2020. I was all excited about this cigar before I started to smoke it. I've smoked the Hamlets before, the earlier versions, but this one just didn't hit the mark for me. And I'm just going to cut to the chase on this. You go through the burn, it looked good. And then what happens is, although it had a wavy burn, flat burn, this right here is where they're losing the points. I had this strange minerally chemical note in the final third. And it's hard to explain that. If you've been smoking cigars as long as I have, I think you know what I'm talking about. and there was a lot of soft spots along the barrel, even on the pre-light. And it had a very open cold draw. So unfortunately, we had to look at this. Came in an 87. So those are the news and reviews on Stogie Press. Back to the show. So let's now just speed the film up. You started smoking cigars, you talk your stories, all of that. How did you connect with Eric Espinosa and get that relationship going?
Phenomenal question. He's having a sneezing fit. You want to go blow your nose and come back? Yeah. Okay. I'll tell the story. He's COVID free, I'm sure of it. He's just having a sneezing fit. Trust me. So the story with me is very unique in the sense, and I mentioned it before, I touched on it a little bit, that me personally, I came from a very strong consumer cigar nerd foundation. So I think it was like 2007 was my first ever cigar related post on Instagram. And at one point I started posting my own little reviews and things like that. And I would just basically, and I did it just because I loved the whole cigar industry. I loved tobacco. I fell in love with it. And I was just very, very active on social media. And I just happened to live close to Famous Smoke Shop, Cigars International, two of the biggest online places. Famous Smoke Shop is literally 2 miles from my house, and they just revamped their restaurant and made it one big lounge. It looks awesome. If you guys can get out there, definitely head out there and check out Famous.
Can I hold you on that one moment? I want some folks to understand something, which I think is really important based on what you just said. A lot of people out there know Famous Smoke as this online cigar shop. Right. And I can't iterate this enough. And I've got called out by some local shops in the past that say, why are you talking about, a big online guy when we should be talking about shops and lounges? I said, you do understand that this place was a lounge and shop long before they went online. And they just did an incredible business model to grow what they have. So with that, go ahead.
So everybody would go to Famous. So as, and I lived next to these places. So if I saw Rocky Patel, Eddie Ortega, all these guys, I would go to the events. And I got good people skills. So I would start talking to guys, joking around with the guys, buying them drinks. I actually became their friends, and then they would get into the area and they'd actually call me, Juan, why don't you come down? We're here. And I just basically got there. And then it started happening because of my relationship with these people. They would ask me, listen, I have an event at this place. I need an extra body. You mind helping me? Of course. If I wasn't doing nothing, I'd drive, I'd tend the table, talk to the people. I knew everything there was to know about that particular cigar, or I just smoked it quick and basically entertain people. This way, like if Eric asked me to go to an event, I talked to the people at the table, and then he was able to be Eric Espinosa and entertain the people. I've been to CI Cigar Fest off of this thing, a few other things. So it's basically through my social media, I built a presence in the industry. So when the time actually came to make a cigar brand, and the story was that Bill and I were at our friend's shop, Bill Agatis. And Bill Agatis was the one that one day said, why don't you guys come out with a cigar line? And we laughed. And we're like, no way. Like, no, I'm serious. You guys got a great social media presence. People follow you. It's pretty amazing. You guys should do something. You'll probably be able to do something with yourselves. And we're like, all right, fine. Let's say if we do this, who are we going to use? And back then, and I still am, I was a tremendous La Zona fanboy. So I'm thinking the first one that came in, I'm talking about, I could have picked up my phone, maybe asked Rocky, so many people, Jonathan Drew. I just thought about Eric Espinosa, and I'm like, let me call Eric and see. I called up Eric. I'm like, Eric, would you mind doing this cigar? I told him the whole story. I expected him to laugh at me. And I'm sure he regrets it now, but he said, Juan, you guys do a lot for my business. You're always posting. You're always doing this. I'll be more than happy to do the cigar for you. So while we don't have a factory, we don't own a factory, we're simple brand owners. We've never lied and said that we're blenders. We do work with Hector, which is Lozona's blender. But now Hector has learned over the years, have learned our palate. So I can say, Hector, I want something, you know what I want? I want something, all right, Juan, I got you. Because by now we've been doing this for 6 years. He knows us. But back then it was him picking our brains and finding out what we wanted. So I basically, when we got to answer your question, the way I got into Espinosa was through my social media presence. You know, I got to know a lot of these guys over the years. Been to a lot of cigar safaris. I've been to Tatuaje's own little cigar safari. He does, you know, the cigar excursions. Eddie Ortega. You know, Rocky Patel. I've been to all these cigars. You know, through my own nerdness. That throughout the years, you know, I was able to make friendship with these people.
What did Hector say to me when I went to Miami? Because I had to do a project for these guys even before I was bought into the company. I'm like, I'll go. Hector sits me down. We're in Miami. And he goes, all right, you're going to Nicaragua. Here's what you got to do, blah, 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 this and that. You know, you're not going to speak Spanish. Eric will be there. You'll have a translator. Hector goes, I have a question for you. You seem like a normal guy. I've met you a few times. We hit it off. I like you. Why the hell did you get in business with Juan Cancel? True
Funny.
story. True story. True story.
So that's how we actually got into, once we got a chance to get a business and get a cigar. And then that's how we simply reached out to Eric, and Eric said yes. And it's been, you know, a match made in heaven ever since. You know, that he's made everything of our core line, and he will continue to do so. And the first little side project we did was with Caldwell for the 9/11 Towers, Tunnels to Towers Foundation. That was a small little thing we did. We didn't really do too much in there, but we had a little input and say and stuff like that. But we wanted to do a collaboration. Maybe we'll do, you know, some small collaborations in the future, but the majority, the core of what we're doing,
everything's
the soul,
everything's always with Lozona.
the soul of who we are.
The soul of who we are is with Lozona. But you'll see some stuff from Protocol branching out a little bit. Nothing crazy, but
those are limited stuff, like limited cute little, you know, things we do, side stuff, just to have some fun, to, you know, to broaden our horizons, get some.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Tuned.
Some stuff coming up.
Stay tuned.
Did I answer your question, by the way, Jimmy, or no?
I believe you did. I mean, in a Juan Cancel way.
I'm getting the stuff is flowing.
It's
what was the question again? Let's see if I can remember. What was it?
I don't even remember.
Right, me neither.
Oh no. How did you get connected up with Eric?
So that was good. So I explained I had to give that. And a lot of, you know, I've actually had like shows with people and they ask about business. It's surprisingly just by how important social media is. And even today, I think part of the reason why we're still alive and people are still talking about us, and you asked us to be on the show, which thank you for that, is that we're still very active on social media. That in itself is a full-time job. Like I'll spend hours in my house just answering every time they post, I try to thank them for the post. I try to repost. I'm always trying to engage the consumer, because that's a very
and it's not easy, because I know, like in my, you know, even as my brand has grown over the years, right? In the beginning, that was simple. Now things get lost in the feed, right? I mean, they just get lost. You know, I go check Facebook and it's like, okay, I see, like, you know, start going through some posts and it's like, you know, there's like a whole shitload after that you totally don't even see. And people need, you know, appreciate that all the consumers, when you reach out to somebody and do that, sometimes they don't show up. I believe in using Facebook Messenger to make the direct contact. But there are some people like direct contact with Facebook Messenger. I don't hear from them in, you know, 2 weeks because they're not paying attention. I have people that like send me Instagram messages, and I'm like, I don't go to Instagram and look at messages. Or I don't think of Instagram as a messaging place. I think of Facebook as messaging. And then I go over there and I'm like, oh crap, man, I forgot about these people. Right. And then I go to YouTube and I realize, oh, I need to go to YouTube and look at all the comments that are coming in on the videos and start dealing with those. And it really consumes you. And then on top of that, I got to do what I got to do, put content out, right? You know, putting out cigar reviews, putting out news. I got a full-time job, 12
Right.
hours a day.
Everything we do right now, I should say everything. Yeah, it's pretty much the company, but everything I do, the things I do for the company, I do from a consumer foundation because I think back to when I was a straight up consumer. I was only, and like if I posted a picture of a tatuaje and I tagged Pete Johnson on it, never would I expect Pete Johnson to ever comment on it. But every once in a blue, Pete Johnson would comment, "Oh, Juan, thanks for the post." And that made me feel like, wow, this guy took a minute, a second, nanosecond out of his busy day, of his regular life, doing whatever, being Pete Johnson, getting tattoos, drinking wine, looking sexy, all that stuff. But he took a minute out of that, 30 seconds to say thank you. So to me, that made a profound impact as a consumer. And that to me now is a good part of my day where anybody that tags me or tags the hashtag Power the P, hashtag Protocol Cigars, I look for these things. So when I see people that I might not follow, maybe didn't tag me, but put the Protocol hashtag on there, I thank them. I try to share because I think that's what I need to do to show our appreciation, my personal appreciation to every person who goes out there and posts a Protocol cigar. Because right now, I went downstairs to the humidor. There's probably out of the 100 cigars that are in there, all 100 are amazing, and there's so many great cigar companies, great product, but these people take time out of their lives to, number one, spend their hard-earned money on our product and then post it. So I appreciate it immensely, and I try to engage them and give them thanks.
And rightfully so. And I'm sure everybody appreciates that, what you do that. And watching this, if you're watching it, you kind of understand what it takes to do that. Sometimes things fly by but we get back to each other and it's important.
Yeah, even before in this, like, I don't want to get choked up, but we got a massive supporter, Al Berner, massive supporter. He's got a son that came to Protocol Studios, and even before he smoked the Protocol Cybercrimes, he got a green tea tattoo on his arm, and I'm like, Al, what the hell are you like? I don't have any tattoos on my body, no less a Protocol tattoo, and he's a supporter, and I'm not trying to get choked up, but like, holy cow, like, he put my green tea on his arm, massive, and he's getting a lot more work done to really finish it off. Like,
but wait a second. There's a guy out there, Quentin Thornation, that has a tattoo of your face on his butt cheek. I saw it. You sure? Toast to Quentin Thornation.
Quentin, man, if you're watching, Quentin, man, just chime in on that one.
I try to make a really, like, real, and that was really from the bottom of my heart. If Al Berner is watching.
No, I love Al. Let's have a toast to Al. I like that.
Let's have a toast to
Al.
Al.
Here we go.
Before.
Hold on, Juan. I'll pass you my glass. You pass me your glass. Slide it over. Slide it over. Slide it over.
Wow. Like, to me, and he goes, Kevin, like, what you've done for me and, whatever. And I'm like, dude, I've done nothing. I just make cigars. And you came into the fold and we love you. You're a big supporter. But that's a big commitment for somebody. I would never put any tattoo on my body. But, like, wow, he put my green tea and he never even had the cigar. I'm like, Al, I don't want to disappoint you. Like,
Al's an exquisite human being, though.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with the thing with this love we have of the leaf, and everybody that's watching, I'm preaching to the choir. It's just this beautiful family where people reach out and help each other. I can't, you think of all the stories you see where somebody's in need, somebody's having a problem. There is a group of people that reach out to them. They may call them. Somebody lost their parent, they lost their child, God forbid, and they suddenly they get this love on social media. But they also get phone calls, they get messaging, they get contact, they get help, and go through this and help them through their lives. We're all sharing in one thing: the love of the leaf and the love of people. It's a beautiful thing. Kevin, I was going to ask you a question since we have a little extended time.
Why not? We'll just be here all night long.
Yeah, I'll edit it down to like my hour and 20. But when so I was really struck by a post you made today. I think it was today. And I think this sums up truly where we are. And I don't want to get political. I know this is semi-political, but let's not get political. I think people that are watching this will appreciate this. This is fact. This is what we should have done. I totally 100% agree with this right here. It's the doctors and the nurses. These are the people in if you're going to talk about 2020, it's not about elections. It's not about politics. It's about these people that have been putting their lives on the line to help us. And Kevin, I really appreciate seeing this. I can't tell you, I saw this and I almost had a tear in my eye when I looked at it. I was like, this is absolutely right. Okay. Right. Take the politics out of it, put this in there. And you know what? It should be sent to Time magazine and say, why didn't you do this? You would have hit the mark across the board with this.
I 1,000% agree. I can't take credit for it. I saw it on somebody else's, but I felt so passionate about it.
Yes.
I know what Juan, previous to Bill, did in their day jobs. It's a thankless job. You think of cops and they're just pulling you over and giving you a speeding ticket or giving you, you ran a stop sign. But, I heard the stories from Bill. I've heard the stories from Juan, and I appreciate what the cops do. And look, even when I got speeding tickets and everything else, they're just doing their job. At the end of the day, that's what they're doing. But, with this year, I feel, and politics aside, don't care where you stand, literally doesn't matter to me. I think the first responders this year, they put their lives on the line every day, and knowing what this freaking.
And let's have a toast to first responders.
Let's have a toast. Let's have a toast.
Let's have a toast to first responders.
Thank you for putting that up. Thank you for putting that up.
But
slide the glass the other way. I'll give you mine. Give me yours.
I appreciate
you. Try that. You can just move it across the line.
With that, and I'm glad. I'm super proud. And some people may be upset about that post, but you know what? The first responders, I'm sorry, they've been on the front line this entire year, and they did not sleep. I'm internet security. We've got a cigar company, and we didn't have to, go to an office. We didn't have to go and put ourselves at risk. They did. They really did. And I'm worried about my mom and dad, so I got to watch when we do certain events, and still with COVID going on. And my mom and dad got super upset with me. You need to come to the house. And I'm like, Mom and Dad, I'm not coming to the house. Like, I've been around people. I don't know. I can not have symptoms. I think I've had it. I don't know. Right. So, it's been a very stressful year on everyone's part. But those first responders stepped up. They did their job. And I can't thank them enough. I really can't. And I've never been in their shoes. So thank you so much. Everybody out there watching, to the bottom of my heart as an internet security guy, I love you. Thank you so much. Protocol loves you. Juan here. It's been a tough year for everybody.
And it has. Cheers. Oh wait, hold on a second. I gotta pour more in. I need some more uncle.
I want to have a toast. Also, this, which I think people have lost track of this. It doesn't matter if you're middle, left, or right. You can have your political opinions, but we can still be friends. How many people on Facebook have lost friendship because of either left or right and become drama? When did this happen? It doesn't matter who you want to win. In reality, it doesn't matter who wins. It doesn't really affect us that much. And I feel in reality, because for certain things it does, but just overall, like the biggest, picture. Why do we have to fight with each other? Why do we have to unfriend each other? Why do we have to do this? It's just, you can have your belief and we can still be friends.
It's to the peasants.
So Boston Jimmie, I want to tell you a funny story. Not funny, but a real story. And it's near and dear to my heart. My mom and dad. My mom's Democrat. My dad's Republican, right? And we were at the house when I was very, very young. Ronald Reagan was giving a speech, And I knew my mom didn't like Ronald Reagan. She didn't vote for him, whatever. But my mom and dad have been married, being Democrat and Republican for 51 years. So there's my mom and dad.
There you
right?
go.
Yeah, and that's to what Juan's saying is you can have difference of opinion, but still, figure it out. And my mom and dad are the best, as these guys all know here. But my mom made me sit down, and I'm like, Mom, you don't even care about this guy. You didn't vote for him. Dad's Republican. You're a Democrat, whatever, and I'm a young kid. My mom said to me, Kevin, this is history. This is the president of the United States. We need to listen and we need to hear it because this is history. You're never going to hear this. Well, you'll hear it again now. We have social media and everything. But at that time, in the early 80s, we didn't have that. And she's like, this is history. And this is the president of the United States. And I really respected my mom for that, even though she didn't respect him, she didn't vote for him, but he was the president and she wanted to hear what he had to say, and, here's to my mom for that, it's, let's get back to that,
Yeah,
I don't care.
I'll say that when I was younger, and I'm kind of dating past you guys, so I'm like 61, so do the math. When I was like about 15 years old, 14 years old, so that's like I think I was sitting at I was taking pictures. I was doing social media pictures for the Last Supper, I think, but but we would always go and visit my uncle and my aunt and my uncle in Long Island, and they were like big Notre Dame fans. I wasn't big into college football at the time, so we always went downstairs in the basement and they were smoking the cigars and the pipes and cigarettes and the drinking and the martinis and all of that. But when it came into political season, even though you had like football going on and people had different opinions on football, when it came to politics, it was always a civil conversation, right? Somebody didn't like this candidate, the other one liked that candidate, and what they did is they talked it out. It was a debate. It was a civil debate, as if the two guys were on stage. The parties debated the pluses and the minuses, and sometimes you would. And I was a kid listening to this. I remember this, where they would like, oh, my father was a staunch Democrat, right? And my uncle was a staunch conservative. They're brothers, right? And they would have this conversation, and my uncle would always look over and say to be like, but Bob, did you think of it this way? And my father would be like, yeah, okay, and they would point for point, right? Point for point, have another drink, right? Smoke a cigar, smoke a pipe, whatever it is. And nobody started beating each other up. Nobody started strangling each other. Nobody started calling each other names. It was just a very civil thing.
I agree. Like I agree. Like Boston Jimmie, you're speaking to the choir right now because that's the way I grew up. Look, I grew up in a split household, right? My dad's, opinion was one and my mom was another, right? And I'd be in my dad's car. I'm listening to Rush Limbaugh every time, and my dad was a baker, and I was doing, I don't want to, out my dad, but I'd have to go to bakery things in the summer when I was like 10, 11 years old and sampling bakery goods or whatever. And he was like, don't worry, I got you. You're gonna get that dirt bike, whatever, because you're working for me. But it's just, and then you go home and you hear mom's side of it, but that was great about it. It was like, and they went to bed every night and they were good, and that's the way we need to get back to. Like, if Juan and I disagree on politics, who cares? We can have a different opinion, but let's just get back and be good to one another. That's my big saying. Let's be good to one another.
Correct.
I don't care. I don't care where you stand in politics.
I'll toast to that.
Yeah, let's be good to one.
Let's be good to each other.
Yeah, let's be good to one another.
So as we're wrapping this up, I think I want to do some quick plugs again. I want to remind everybody out there that if you guys are interested in Protocol Cigars and maybe your local brick and mortar doesn't have them, and maybe you don't want to go to the big online guys, the place where we're at right now, Caravan Cigar Company, they're in Bath, PA, but they have a decent online presence. If you Google Caravan Cigar Company, they have these beautiful.
Put your link Your link
I
is
think I
in
got
the
it down there.
feed of these comments right now. So I added that link. So
Awesome,
if you go through the feed, you go there. I think somebody already bought a 5-pack.
Awesome. So
Awesome.
you get the
Awesome.
5-pack of the cybercrimes unit, and then also if you guys want to get exposed and try one of each of our entire lineup from the first release all the way to our last, you can do that. They also have the 6-pack, but it's $55. It's really good. You get to try everything in our lineup, and hopefully we're able to release the the Elliot Ness this year, and the cybercrimes, and hopefully get that going. So
Elliot Ness will be at a Caravan Cigar Company by the end of this year. Yeah, they're getting it.
beautiful.
So
First in the country. So that'll be the
First in the country to get it.
Yeah.
And Kevin, Richie Otero says Kevin's beard game is strong. I guess I lost the beard. Juan and I lost the beard game.
It's very Yukon Cornelius.
I mean, you got to go back. You know, those that are watching this, go to the Boston Jimmie Facebook page and scroll back to like 2019, and this is beyond me. I mean, it's really like my wife looks at me and goes, "Are you ever going to get rid of that?" I mean, seriously, you're going to do anything? I said, "No." I think people tell me, "Hang out with it." It's like,
It looks good. I like it.
it's the thing.
own it, own it, own it.
It takes me 20 minutes at least in the shower to wash and condition all of this. I used to get
Yeah,
out. I was like you. I was like, get
I
in
know
and get
what-
out.
When I'm washing my hair, I no longer have 10-minute showers. It's like 45 minutes to wash this mop
You
of
gotta
head.
condition it. You know, I'm not like
Oh.
I used to be like Kevin. I get in there, you wash it, you throw a little soap on the face, and you wash your body. You're out, right?
No, I gotta wash my beard. I do the conditioner. I do the whole thing. It's like hair, you know. Like
Do the oils.
Yeah, I do the whole conditioner thing. You know. It's,
Yeah, I probably need to do something like
Also,
that.
I want to do a quick plug. If you Google Protocol Cigars, however you want to do it, on our website, we have all kind of swag. We have lighters, cutters, ashtrays, t-shirts, sweatshirts, beanie caps we're about to get in. Now the winter time's coming in. We have beanie hats. We have regular fitted hats. Anything you guys want.
You want to see your wife,
Even gaiters.
girlfriend.
Pillows, tell them about it.
We got pillows. We've got ladies' leggings. They look amazing.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal leggings.
Ladies' V-necks, ladies' tank tops. We're not just about men. We've got the women covered. You can get anything Protocol.
We're
for
trying
the
to
men
work
and
at some Protocol lingerie for the men, but for the women, but you know.
All right, guys. With all of that, that is awesome. This has been the longest show. It'll be edited down
At least
somewhat.
we made history. It's the longest show.
I think it made history on
Longest
the
show.
show. It keeps it going. I want to thank all my sponsors. I want to thank all my followers. You guys are great. Keep following it. And I'm going to give the last word to Juan and Kevin.
So my last word is always put out positive energy, be good to people, never try to hurt anyone, and you should be good. Kevin's word is going to be mesh Wi-Fi.
No, guys, let's be good to one another, right? There's a lot of negativity out in the world. Let's be good to one another. That's all.
Be positive.
Be positive.
There you go. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I'll be in touch with you during the week. I got something that I got to talk to you about.
All right.
Sounds
Sounds good.
Have a good one.
Love you, bud.